all cleaned out. Unfortunately, I'm having a hard time finding this seal that's at the end here. This is the seal that was on the new transmission, but it was half off. But after leaving it, it actually got shaped right back. And the thing is, if you look at it up close, it pretty much is narrower than the shaft. But then I saw that there's actually a groove built up in here, and I'm hoping these splines are okay. I heard if you over grease them, it could be a problem, so I'm gonna try not to do that. But if you over grease them, it can somehow create a hydraulic effect in here, But when you put this in, it really doesn't really seem like too much of an interference fit. But I hear that click. It's almost like that little thing holds it in there, but it just lets it leak out enough that it doesn't have the bindage. You can't just put a regular O-ring. I thought it was a regular O-ring at first, and I was like, oh no, this is something different. Because the old one, it was like basically nothing left, So that's why there was a lot of grit in here and kind of like rusty stuff. And I don't know if it doesn't seem like all of these splines. They do have straight parts. I thought they looked a little knife edged, but now that I'm looking with the with the camera here, it's a little bit better than I thought. Being that when you buy a used transmission, it does not come with it, and they sell it separately, and they didn't have it, and this is the best I can get. I just stripped everything off it that I don't need, all the plugs and everything. So this whole project is going on the way end, and I gotta transfer this over. I got this stuff here. I thought they said 4 ounces, and I realized this is 2.65 ounces, but it seems like a lot to stick in that hole, so I could have been wrong. I don't know, maybe I'll mix it with something else too if it's not enough, or buy another 2, but I think the local deal only had that one. That was their last one. But it actually was supposed to call for some kind of urea one, but somebody said they used that. That's like what they put on a clutch shaft too, so I think it'll be fine, to be honest, So hopefully this thing works, and that's about it. What do you call it? I decided to take out the spark plugs because they've never been done. I guess they're not so bad based on, unless they got done at the dealer. These are letter B's. It says B on the head, so they're indexed a certain way. I was thinking of a different technology plug that I've been reading up on. May just put the original style back in, but they're expensive. And I don't think some of these motor mounts are not great of shape. Valve cover was definitely leaking. I thought it was a rear main seal, but you know what? I'm going to let it go. It does not appear to be leaking from there. This guy said there's not a drop anywhere. It's definitely leaking, but it's coming from the valve cover, so it's probably, less of an issue. You can see this is where the oil comes up, and that's kind of always leaking all over this this guy, the ignition coil. So I was like, that's the ignition coil. Let me take out the spark plugs now. And I think I'm in good shape otherwise, because I want to limit. I did buy, probably should have bought a water pump, huh? I didn't think about it even. But I bought a new belt. I bought a tensioner pulley. Not quite sure how it is. I ordered everything without really looking at it, but this belt looks kind of old and rusty. I'll probably take it off and then take a look at it one more time when it comes to the water pump. It can't possibly be that in good of shape. You got to figure it's got to go sometime. So, but that's where I'm up to right now. I cleaned out those things, like I said. It's amazing that I found the tranny kind of local. Had a friend help me pick it up. And like I said, I'm not doing a rear main seal. I bought it. It's just not leaking now. There seems to be a lot going on here. I don't know enough about it. It doesn't seem like it'll be that hard for me to change it. Maybe I'll change my mind. But if anything, I would hope that I can just take off this center here and leave all this other stuff on. Although the flywheel's got to come off. Hard to say. I don't know if it's just that center. I got to look at some pictures of these things taken apart to see how much of a big deal it is. But it does not seem like it wants to come apart. This outer part here from the engine, because that's basically the electric motor. This whole contraption here. Whatever coil windings are in there or something. And there appears to be bolts here behind this thing, so that's really where it comes down. You know, I can see that bolt right there. And there's, you know, more bolts that I can see. So I said no, but I don't know. Sometimes I talk myself into things, sometimes I talk myself out of things. And, you know, sometimes you like to leave well enough alone. I got a good information for a different exhaust gasket, because it's definitely bad, and they say the original one sucks. And even more so that the even if you found the exact replacement in aftermarket, which somebody just matched it up, this aftermarket one is the same one, 31360 in Walker, but it's like almost 3/4 of an inch as opposed to a 1/2 inch, and that makes a huge difference to make it even articulate with the spring-loaded bolts and everything. I got looked like the top, you know, the more expensive O2 sensor was done at one point. You know, when you start, comparing it to the bottom one there. So I'm going to change the bottom one, the downstream. And like I said, I'm ordering a valve cover gasket. I'll get it locally, and this definitely was leaking, definitely 100%. And the spark plugs, like I said, they're supposed to be indexed. I could just buy regular spark plugs locally and then index them myself. It's kind of a question of exactly where it's supposed to be as far as that's concerned. That's always fun. But you can, I can buy them from the speed shop, the indexing washers, and figure that out. Probably not that difficult to do if I know which one to go to. And they say it points towards the VTech thing. But the other thing I want to do is it did clack a little bit, and these things do get out of whack. And supposedly this is supposed to be your regular scheduled maintenance. So it's something that I'd like to make sure that's right. I hate clickety-clack, so I'm probably going to do that. And it may be a little bit easier to do it now that I have it, like this. I mean, I can put the tranny in and put it up. It's going to be just as easy. But these are all the things I'm looking at doing. I always end up making it a bigger project, but it's usually by the time somebody needs a transmission, they leave a few things on the wayside, like the belt, these adjustments, tune up. He said I never tuned it up, and so did the last guy, unless these have been done by the dealer, these spark plugs that I took out. So he said he was getting like 58 miles to the gallon, and I said, maybe because of the tranny he was getting, less than he should have. But it could be very well spark plugs just simply needing to be done. I mean, when you have a 3-cylinder, 1-liter, engine, it's got to make a difference. And the reason why they index it is for that reason as well. So I might just get much better mileage. Even I heard like the Automax get from 62 to 68, but I'll take it. If he was only getting 58 and I can get up to 66, I'll definitely take it. I think that's a good thing. So that being said, I think I'll end this video, and if there's anything else I can think about, if anybody has questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. But yeah, I don't know if I'm going to really document putting it up because I'm by myself, and it's always hard to do it. If I come up with something, I'll do it. The biggest thing is getting this guy on. So like I said, I think I'm just going to reuse the seal that I have, and hopefully that'll be okay. And then if I have a problem, or if there's a problem with this, because this supposedly only has 137,000, and the flywheel there, that's the original flywheel. It's still in good shape. Like I said, they didn't have it for me, and I thought I was getting it, so I asked them for, to give me less money on this, and they did. I said, hey, I thought, you sell a tranny, you should have the torque converter. They're like, oh, that's supposed to get sold with the engine. I'm like, no, it's supposed to, if anything, it's supposed to get sold with the electric motor part, and that gets separated from the engine. So I'm like, if you gave away a motor with the whole electric thing, you did somebody a big favor. So kind of, even the junkyards don't know everything about these cars, so it is what it is. Supposedly this thing has full of fluid, which I'd kind of like to leave in there just to make sure before I invest money in the pan gasket and filter and all that stuff. I think the fluid will be fine anyway, and I'll just top it off. But I may just change it anyway. But nobody has this filter. You got to order it online. I didn't think about it, and I probably should have. But no, not too big of a deal. I could reuse it. I can just add to it and then refill it again. While I change the fluid officially. I'm sure the fluid is fine. However, just in case there's water in here, I was thinking maybe I should at least drain a little from the drain plug to see how it looks, and then put the plug back in, because you just never know at a junkyard what they leave in the pan. The dipstick was over here somewhere. Yeah, look at the dipstick. So I don't think this happened when my friend delivered it, but it was kind of like sitting like this, which, kind of looks like it's sealed. So it might be fine, but I would hate to start it up and get it all wound up in the transmission, if there was water in there. So I'm sure this is still good. I just got to bend it back, but I just assume it was mine, so who knows. But this bracket was bent too, so it was dropped, but everything seems to be intact. I busted one of these sensors off the old transmission, so I got 3 out of 4 in case something happens. Looks like everything's intact for the most part, so I don't think it's a problem. Wasn't that bad. This is very much of a pain in the ass to take apart, and I really feel that something happened to the snap ring. That's why I couldn't get it off. That was where I was leaving off with it last. It's where is it? Not that one. This one right here, inside there. I don't know how the hell that guy comes out. You can see it's like squared off on one, and by the time I was done, I kind of squared off the one that kind of looked like it was angled, but it almost looks like that should have an inside, round clip. So I don't know if a piece is missing, if the chunk broke off on both sides of the snap ring. That goes to show you something. If that happens and there's some kind of deflection within there to make it snap off, but I can't say that I saw it, any pieces in there, but there was a magnet in the pan there with something on it. But, being that I don't know enough about it, I think it's just easier just to change it as a whole unit. And I got something with relatively low mileage because they didn't list the mileage, so I took a chance, and it was the closest one. And really wasn't a pleasant experience going there. Very rough and tumble kind of place, but it says my friend, because I did not go. He went for me, and I was very grateful for that. But I got to take this guy off because they just cut everything. These guys, it's amazing how they can't even unbolt any little thing. So that's the only thing I got to remove. I'm reusing this on this particular transmission. I think that's the right thing to do. So I don't get this out of alignment if there was any kind of alignment that it needed. And other than that, I can always put the other one back on if I needed to. I'm going to try to put it in with this on, like I said, and I'll catch the pan underneath so I don't lose more than I need to, because, hopefully they haven't screwed me and this is a good trainee, but I shall find out, right? That's what you get when you get used. You don't get 100% confidence, but, I don't think it's going to be too much of an issue. All right, of course, I'm a mechanic and I can't find my 10mm. It was on here. It must have. I think it. Oh no, it's on this. Yes. So with that, now I'll end the video because that's all I could really film today. And like I said, I was pondering back and forth whether or not I will be messing with the that seal or just reusing it. I mean, the one that looks like I would be reusing looks in fairly good shape, but it doesn't look very, thick. It's not that kind of seal. So, being that I think that the grease would get out anyway if it wanted to get out, it looks pretty intact when you compare it to the one that came out of the car. Just think about it. This thing is just like nothing left of this. So obviously this was starting to become an issue, whether lack of lubrication or what. You're supposed to take out the tranny and lubricate this once in a while and change the seal. So being that this was a running unit, it doesn't seem like there was really an issue with this because it wasn't, funny, but when I looked at it, it was kind of like half off on the shaft here. So I took it off, and like I said, it seemed like it was kind of bent, warped, and then it went back into shape. So I'm like, what is it really doing? Is really the grease going to get all out of it, now? It's especially when there's something there. I can totally understand with this one's nothing. But I'd like to get something done on this, and I got to order it from like Timbuktu. One dealer said they had it in another place in Brooklyn, and then this other guy called Brooklyn. And we ain't got it. You know, okay, all right. I don't know where the hell he got it from, but oh well. You know, so that's what I'm up against. Like I said, I'd rather get it running sooner than later. But I do have to order other parts for the valve cover and whatnot. I got to see what I can get locally or not, and then I'll have a better idea. I want to adjust the valves. This is all going to take time, so I'm debating. And I was going to order the pan gasket and filter anyway. Still debating whether I'm going to do that anyway and just drain it all out and drop the pan and really take a look at it or what. It really depends on how fast I can get the other stuff, you know. So, all right. I hope you enjoyed it, even though it's not really telling you too much. But this is where I decided to go with this, and it was the right price and the right timing. And even though I got this thing on Saturday, or Friday, I should say, it was too cold on the weekend to do anything, and I actually did something on Saturday. I stripped this down. I was sore on Sunday, so I didn't do anything. So today's Monday. I got a late start, and nothing really goes right in other parts of my life. So I'm just evaluating now. I took off the valve cover, I took off the spark plugs and everything. So I gave myself more work, more stuff to do. So I shall hopefully have another video as I see fit, going back in and whatnot. But like I said, if there's any questions, feel free to ask, and hopefully I'll be running with my car soon.